I've thought long and hard about this amendment, and I'm actually still torn about it. On the other evening at that rather fractious discussion about trans prisoners and women's prisons, the Noble Lord, the Minister, rather took me up on my quotes from Twitter, as though I was using Twitter as hardcore evidence, which I wasn't. But he made a valuable point, because he said that, you know, putting management and protection first was what was done, rather than rather than public opinion or what was on Twitter or anywhere else. And I've got some regard for that. In fact, I had made the same point to the Noble Lord in relation to Harper's Law at the beginning of this report stage, when I made the point that actually I don't think sentencing should be as a consequence of an outraged public reaction to something, or a campaign, or what have you. I'd rather that I felt that sentencing was decided in the cold light of day, much more rationally, and so on. And I worry about knee-jerk legislation. But I suppose I want to ask a couple of questions, both to the Minister, but also to the movers of the motion. Sentencing, it seems to me, is often subject to caricature on both sides. Either people are caricatured as bleeding heart liberals who want everybody to be let out of prison, or on the other hand, anyone who is concerned about increasing sentencing is caricatured as the lock 'em up and throw away the key. It does seem to me there does need to be some relationship between sentencing and the public, and what the public views about it. But on the other hand, we don't want it to be arbitrary and reactive either. And so in that sense, I was very positive about the notion of a Royal Commission that could look at this in the round, take it away from the political world in some ways, and allow, if you want, a more rational, considered public debate, as well as a commission looking at it in detail. That seemed to me to be a way forward. But I was rather concerned by the way that the amendment was framed, which had a particular view of sentencing, which was effective. And by the way, one I might well share, because I'm a bleeding heart liberal at heart myself, right? Which is that I know that some may be shocked, but I actually worry a lot about prison reform. I worry about authoritarian tendencies. I worry about prison being used as an answer to all problems. There's lots of draconian aspects of this bill, let alone, you know, the threat of jail to protesters, for example, that we're about to discuss. All of these things concern me, it has to be said. But on the other hand, I wouldn't want a Royal Commission to be there to endorse what the movers of the amendment want, or what I want. And so therefore a kind of long list of things that are wrong with long sentences doesn't seem the basis of a Royal Commission, when I would want the Royal Commission to look at sentencing without prejudice and bearing in mind public concerns about safety. And it is absolutely the case that, despite my liberal qualms, there are times when actually probably people should be locked up longer, but I think the prisons should then be reformed to make them more humane while you're in prison for longer.